Hello and welcome. How did a bunch of Muslims living on the rural North American prairie become some of the most popular characters in Canada? Not only in Canada, the comedy show Little Mosque on the Prairie is now syndicated to more than 60 countries, and a deal has just been made to bring it to the USA. So what lessons can the residents of the fictional town of Mercy provide on how to avoid a clash of civilizations? Or in this case, a misunderstanding over Wheat Week. Let's take a look.
Don't cancel our festival! Don't cancel our festival! Don't cancel our festival! Don't cancel our festival!
Ooh, this is ugly. It's not very euphonic. Of all the time the mosque has been picketed, that's the worst chant.
I'm going out there. Citizens of Mercy, I implore you. Ow! You're throwing cereal at me?
Tasty Wheats. On account of you shot down Wheat Week. Get it?
Sure, they can be frosty, but they got that other side.
Ow, that's...
On today's show, we look at how television programs can help to counter stereotypes and bridge cultural divides. Now, you can join in with your questions and comments. We've got two parts to the show. First of all, we examine the success of Little Mosque on the Prairie through the eyes of the actors who bring it to life. Then we'll examine its prospects for a US audience. But joining me now, first from Toronto, are two of the actors who star in the show, actor, dancer and model Sitara Hewitt and Kenyan-born veteran TV actor Manoj Sood. Sitara plays the part of Rayyan Hamoudi, a 25-year-old doctor who embraces her faith and is an active feminist. Manoj has the role of Babar Siddiqui, a divorced and devout Muslim father struggling to raise a teenage daughter. I welcome you both to the show, and Sitara, welcome you back, I should say. We spoke about 18 months ago, and I wonder how much the show, when the show was just being launched, I wonder how the show has been received. The success it's fared obviously has been very high. How have those 18 months since we spoke gone for you?
Hi Riz, it's nice to be back here, and you know, things have changed quite considerably in 18 months. I think when we first started the show, it was sort of, it felt almost like a little backyard project. It was definitely a big gig for myself and a lot of the other actors, but we just kind of made it here, close to Toronto and also in Regina, and we had no idea how big and how successful the show was going to be. And the fact that people kind of fell in love with the characters of Mercy and their day-to-day lives was just such a treat. It was the kind of thing that just kept growing exponentially. I believe it's in over 70 countries now.
Wow. Well, Manoj, you play the part. You play the part of a heavily accented, traditional, and somewhat devout Muslim father, divorced father. How did you prepare for the role? How have you managed to develop that character?
Well, I was very lucky. The accent, for example, when my sister and I were growing up, my father, who's from India, and my mother, they always had friends coming over who were other people from India as well. And my brothers and my sister and I, we would hide in a closet around the corner and mimic all the accents. So little did I know that as I got older, it actually end up becoming a job for me. But so basically, just developing the character, I've been around people from India and Pakistan my entire life, and I've spent a lot of time there as well. So it was basically just mimicking what I've seen.
Now, one of the things you do, you touch on subjects like even father having to deal with a teenager, and let's have a look at a video clip from the Little Mosque on the Prairie, where you're having to deal with your teenage daughter in the series.
Understand there will be consequences of what you are doing.
You can't make me quit a job.
I warn you one last time.
No.
Very well. If you quit, I'll buy you a cell phone.
No deal!
With free airtime and ringtones. I don't know what ringtones are, but you can have some.
Now, to some degree, of course, you're dealing with a very stereotypical character. Did you face any? Did you face any criticisms, or was there any criticism for that kind of stereotyping?
No, because it is a typical stereotype, and of course it's a comedy, so everything has to be pushed in the lesson that's coming through it. I mean, the thing about Babar Siddiqui is he, when I first read his character profile, when I first auditioned for the part, I read him as a kind of an angry, mean guy. But right away I thought, okay, but we got to find a way to make this guy likable as well. And so the way the writers did that was through his relationship with his daughter.
Now, Sitara, your experience, of course, I wonder in your experience, how has the show helped to counter stereotypes and negative stereotyping of Muslims?
Well, just in my personal experience, what's really nice is that we're seeing the leads of TV series played by people of Indian descent, Pakistani descent, Lebanese descent, and certainly when I was growing up, half Pakistani and half Welsh. There was really no one on TV in Canada who was South Asian and who was a lead on a show. So that's changed just in my lifetime, which was really cool to see. And also, I was quite honored when a friend of mine who is Muslim wears the hijab. She's a young woman who said to me, you know, since this show has been on the air, I notice people are nicer to me. They smile at me on the subway. They say hi to me on the street. They don't either ignore me or look at me like I'm some strange breed of human being. And that's nice, because that's a huge honor to be part of something that that is making people feel more comfortable with who they always have been comfortable with being, and that's making other people kind of go, oh, I could relate to that person. I could relate to that girl in that hijab, because I kind of feel like I can relate to Rayanne or Fatima or Babar.
You know, I was going to say, Sitara, that the show does tackle some of the stereotypes and sensitive issues for Muslims, as you mentioned, such as the hijab and even arranged marriages. And I want to show our viewers a video clip from the show where your father in the show is trying to arrange your character with an introduction to a potential marriage partner.
You could go on a series of dates with a chaperone. Very Islamic.
Yasser, what you're talking about is an arranged marriage.
Yeah, something like that. Could you pass the chicken?
I don't know what to say. I do. You're not getting any chicken.
You can't eat that much chicken.
Oh, chicken is for civilized people. You're a caveman.
I'm not a caveman. Tell her. Arranged marriage is very, very traditional. Well, now I'm left with his side dishes.
Now, I was wondering, you know, when you look at something like that, how are you able to tackle some of these issues, some of the sensitive issues? How have you found that they've helped an open debate on issues such as the hijab and on arranged marriages? Has it actually come out into the public domain since you've been doing this show?
I'm sorry, was your question about how I tackle those issues?
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if the way you're tackling them in the series has helped to bring them out into the public domain, you know, where the show is seen, for example.
Well, I think there's sort of, from what I've seen, there's a definite movement in the press in general about issues like Muslims living in Canada, women wearing the hijab. I think the show is kind of timely in that way. So the issues that we talk about may bring about a dialogue, but it's also really what's going on in the world. I think just generally Muslims have been misrepresented in the media a lot up until now, and that trend is kind of changing. Little Mosque on the Prairie definitely has a hand in that. And that's what's cool about our show is that it does create dialogue. It does create discussion.
Let me do one thing though. Let me show another video clip from the show. In this case, it's where a particularly funny episode where Christmas and the Muslim holiday Eid end up clashing, and there happens to be the issue of a Christmas play at school coming up.
Excited about the show?
I'm mortified.
I sense excitement. We have to work on your acting.
Dad.
Hear me out. It is just a short play telling the story of Eid, when Allah asked the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, to sacrifice his only son.
Poor kid. Was his dad gonna do it in front of the entire school?
Be serious. I wrote a script.
So what? I play Prophet Abraham and you're Allah?
Of course not. Islamic law forbids the direct portrayal of Allah and the prophets.
Oh well, back to Charles Dickens.
Nonsense. We will play people who claim to have heard what Allah and the Prophet Ibrahim have said.
Now, Manoj, how hard was it to maintain, you know, to be funny while maintaining religious and cultural sensitivities?
Well, luckily in our show we do that a lot. I'd like to think we do. I guess when you're trying to find yourself in that moment, you just sort of find the moment as an actor, and if you hopefully been preparing yourself properly, it all comes out fine. I mean, I'm not involved in the writing, but the writers and the producers are very careful to have everything looked at to make sure that we're not going to be offending anyone. So by the time we get our scripts, we know that it's safe. We know it's fine. We know it's going to be funny. We know it's all been looked at.
And also, may I interject?
Go ahead.
It's not my question. But also, something that we do is we're actors, and that's what we do. So we get our scripts and we focus on being great actors and bringing life to this character, the character in that situation. We don't really worry about pleasing everyone because you can't. Right. And we also, you know, there's definitely a lot of thought goes into making sure we're respecting people, because that's one of the sort of mandates of our show. It comes down from our producers right down, is respect for all cultures and all human beings. But ultimately, when we're in that moment, we concentrate on being good actors. That's what we do. And while we're playing that part, that's where our loyalties lie.
So Tara, I want to put an email question we got to you from Illinois here in the USA. And Nancy wrote in with this question regarding the hijab, the Muslim head scarf that you wear obviously for much of the show. And it says, Rayan dresses in outfits that are religiously appropriate, yet stylish, professional and contemporary. Is that tough for your costume director? Do you think top designers might one day develop a line tailored for Muslim fashionistas? Now, I wonder how much thought was given to Muslim fashion, because of course you're wearing some fairly cool outfits.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I get to wear some pretty stylish stuff while looking very devout. We have an incredible costume designer on the show, Risa McConaughey, and she just really is passionate. She's not challenged by this at all. She's passionate about Rayan's clothing and her designs, and she's certainly put together a look that is uniquely Rayan. And we do try to be on the more modest end of things as far as coverage. We go right to the wrists. We cover the feet. We never show the ankles, never show the ears or neck. But then we take some sort of liberties with style and color, because Rayan is a Muslim woman who believes that the hijab is not to make yourself look ugly, or because you need to hide yourself, but rather it's modesty and still a celebration of being a young woman. I believe the business, the producers, the entity that is Little Mosque on the Prairie is in the process of coming up with a clothing line that is Rayan-centric.
Let's get a quick call in here from Nigeria.
So Muslim women all over the world can... Sorry?
Follow the fashion. Well, I was just going to get in a quick call here before we take a break from Nigeria, and Tunde's on the line. Go ahead, Tunde.
All over the world can... Sorry?
Tunde, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, please, Tunde.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Yeah, I'd like to ask really, what's the brain behind the program? Is it to promote the Islamic religion, or to the culture of the Arabs, or what?
Manoj, maybe you can tackle that quickly. Tunde's asking, what is the mission of the program? Is it to promote Islam, or is it to, or the Arab world or something?
No, I believe that the mission is to make people laugh. It's a TV show to make people laugh, and at the same time, it does build bridges between cultures.
Well, Manoj,
it shows, yes?
No, I was just going to say we have to take a break here, but Manoj Sood and Sitara Hewitt, I want to thank you very much, and good luck with the show's continued success.
Thank you very much, Riz. Nice to be here again.
Cheers.
Thank you for having us. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Well, we've got to take a break, but when we return, we'll talk with Little Mosque's executive producer and a Muslim-American filmmaker and ask how easily the US will accept comedy based around Muslim characters. Join in with your thoughts when we come back.